We turned a church into a spaceship. And no, it had nothing to do with Scientology.
This is Written By. I'm Robert. I wrote and directed Into the Sun.
So we've been doing more and more shorts on this channel, and we did the Chuck E. Cheese Strangler, and we have a bunch of ideas of what we're going to be doing. A lot of these ideas, though, are pretty daunting. They take a lot of effort, they take a lot of planning, but we wanted to do something every single month. And so we realized we were running out of time for this month's short, and we needed to do something kind of like $0 and zero time.
The reaction portion of the film I actually shot 5 years ago. I was going to do this last minute entry into a film competition. I got all my friends together and we did this, and then we ran out of time to film the trailer, and it just sat on a hard drive for like 5 years.
We had something that we were going to be doing. We started planning for it. We realized we didn't have enough time with our our real jobs taking up a good bit of time lately, being busy, our personal lives. So we were like, well, what can we do? Robert remembers that he has this video that he shot half of like 5 years ago, sends it to me, and he's like, hey, let's just finish this.
The most fun part of this was getting to try out some sci-fi filmmaking techniques, because I haven't really done anything like that before. But of course it serves a larger purpose in the film, because you have this whole physical gag going on in the background, and then the trailer really just exists to distract your eye from what's going on in the background.
His plan was to use a lot of stock footage, and the trailer wasn't as important. It was mostly about this guy losing his stuff.
I did another draft of the Sci-Fi trailer, and I picked up a whole lot since 2019. I added a lot more stakes and conflict to the whole relationship of this guy's partner is someone he can't trust, was something that we added here. It was also it's really fun to add really dramatic moments, and it's really intense, but also really silly stuff is going on just directly behind it.
That was very exciting for me, because I have this obsession with making things that are bad on purpose. And the idea of getting to make kind of a bad sci-fi movie trailer on purpose, and it looks like a real movie, but it's just so silly.
To make it really look like a sci-fi trailer, we had our buddy John Fang shoot this. We shot it on anamorphic, so it would really look like a proper movie. And a big way that this looks like a legit sci-fi movie is we used a lot of colored lights, a lot of gels. That's a really quick and easy way to kind of transform a space. All those blue lights and the red lights, whenever we get closer to the sun, it makes the room look a lot different than it actually does if you were to just walk into it. The plan from the beginning for the spaceship was we have access to a large church's media control room, and I knew because of the amount of screens and controls that we could very easily make that space look like a spaceship. Everything in the background would be pretty blurry, and so you don't see all the details that don't look like space. We stuck to mainly tights so that you wouldn't have these wide shots with a bunch of not space looking things. There were a lot of screens in that room, which made it look like a control room, but since it's actually an active control room, we couldn't put anything on the screens. The one screen you see with controls on it was one that we brought in, and that's just a free stock footage clip from Envato that we stuck on there. One of my favorite shots to work on was when we have Chase doing his spacewalk. It's just a blacked out studio, which we've used a lot of times. We use the same studio for the all black shots in our film Troubled Date, so it's an environment I know we could work with. We just had to light it to just have as few light sources as possible, because if you're actually in space, the one primary light source is the sun, and in this short they're supposed to be really close to the sun, so we had a sun-tinted light just right behind Chase, and since we were shooting on this anamorphic lens, we knew he'd get this great flare that would take up most of the shot.
Okay, can we make it look like he's out in space working, right? The zero gravity, the helmet. We totally forgot that it needed to be zero gravity, so I'm just kind of like moving around, chefing it up, and when he sends the like effects test, he texted to me, and I'm watching, I'm like, oh, it sucks. And it's just because we forgot that I need to be moving in zero gravity.
That's why you do test footage.
So I thought it was gonna just like look sick, right? But Robert really wanted to bring home like the whole sci-fi feel, not just the look. So he wrote in the draft these huge, like sci-fi sounding words, like unlacerated squeeb in the front. It's hard. Matthew and I are on set. We're doing these scenes. I don't know what we both thought, but we both showed up being like, we don't have to know these words, right? And no, we did. And
when the negative T, no, you can't all-who's-the-plifican. I've said it too many times now. I'm starting to get confused. I can't all-who's-the-plifican wire when the thermocytic limp. Can you read it for me real quick?
Let's see here. Thermocytic lip.
Lip. Okay.
Yeah.
You can't all-who's-the-plifican wire when the thermocytic lip dips into the negative T zone.
most of that shoot, I think that was like a 4-hour shoot. Most of it was just, when we weren't actively rolling, was just Matthew and I pacing back and forth, saying these sci-fi words over and over: unlacerated squeeb in the gonagol valve, lacerated squeeb. You can't, and just over and over and over. And then we would record, we'd get it right, cut right back to just, all right, unlacerated squeeb, unlacerated squeeb, unlacerated squeeb. All right, action. Say the line, cut, okay, unlacerated squeeb. And we did that for every setup.
I wanted to do like a Buster Keaton, Charlie Chaplin type physical gag, but make it kind of modern. So I always thought it would just be so funny if a YouTuber was reacting to something, his attention was gone, and something completely wacky was happening behind him. So rehearsing that was very intricate. We had to nail the timing just right, because if they did it too quick, there aren't really a whole lot of stakes, but if they do it too long, he'll turn around and notice. So I think we did like 8 takes before we got like the perfect timing.
I've been teaching myself Blender and like VFX for the past year or so, and I got to utilize it a little bit in an official standpoint when we did the Chuck E. Cheese Strangler short last month. And it was kind of like a nice project to do VFX for, because it needed to look bad. For this project, it didn't need to look bad. It needed to look good. And so it was really cool to like just see what I have learned, you know, bringing in the spaceship models and the model of the sun, which was the most difficult part of it all, is finding a model of the sun that looked like what Robert had in mind for the sun. That's a thing I don't get about directors. they're like, well, I have a vision for the sun. And it's like, it's the fucking sun, dude. It's the same.
It was really fun cutting together a fake trailer, because there's so much fun sound design and editing that goes into that. I love all of the trailer hits and the risers and stuff. Sound design is a whole lot of fun for me, and there was definitely a lot of that in here. And I picked up a lot of sci-fi sound design from when we used to do the From the Bowl episodes on the Written By podcast. We did one sci-fi episode called One Room, and I went absolutely ham on the sound effects, and I still had all those sound effects, so I was able to put a lot of those sci-fi sounds into this film. And that is another thing that really elevates what we were doing, because it would feel a lot more low budget without all that sound.
Hey, thank you guys so much for watching. We're trying to do one short a month, and with each short, we're hopefully going to do one of these BTS videos where we just kind of talk about what we made, how we made it, because that's what we love to do, and that's what you probably love to do if you clicked on something like this. So if you want to subscribe, like, watch the videos, so that way you can help us make more shorts, because even the $0 ones cost a lot of money for some reason.